Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome to See Mindy Mom. Today I am sharing with you an extreme budget meal plan. I am going to show you how I fed myself breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 days with just $5 total, so stay tuned. All right, you guys, my friend Miranda is doing this challenge with me. Her channel is Running on Plants. I will leave it linked right up here and down in the description box below. Please forgive any background noises that you hear. It is a day when I am at home doing housework, and so I've got, the washing machine going and the stove going, cooking up something for lunch that I'm gonna show you here in just a minute in this video. I keep it pretty casual on this channel, and sometimes I just don't have time to do a real formal intro or outro. I don't even have any makeup, y'all. So thank you so much for sticking with me. This challenge is something that I have done a couple of times before, so I will try to leave links to that video as well as some other budget challenge videos below. And this one is by far the hardest. It's definitely one of those trying to use every penny, stretch every penny. And the meals that I am creating, just to give you a little disclaimer, they aren't always the most balanced and the most nutritious. I try to work in some fruit or vegetables or both if I possibly can, but sometimes when you are on a very limited budget and you don't have a lot to work with, you sometimes have to trade some nutrition for just getting the most calories you possibly can. Per the usual with these challenges, my husband and I will be making a donation to our local food pantry, so thank you so much for watching this channel and supporting us, and we will make sure that that happens. For this challenge, I decided to shop at a local supermarket. It is a regional grocery store chain. It's not nationwide, but this is just kind of your traditional supermarket and probably like a more expensive one. I wanted to see if I could make it work there. And when I first walked in and I looked around, I was like, I don't think this is gonna work. But then I started seeing some other things that I was like, okay, maybe. And finally I stumbled upon this discount freezer section where they had a bunch of stuff at a high markdown. And I thought, this is a good thing to try to make work so that I can also hit home the point that sometimes being on a budget means being resourceful. And even if you are in an expensive store, maybe there are some specials, maybe there are some sales, maybe there are some discounts, and you can make those things work. So I'll show you what I picked up at the store and how I'm using it. I know that these aren't the most amazing, gourmet meals, but like I said, I'm just trying to get through 3 days with just $5 worth of food, and I do try to get a little creative with it. So you're gonna see how I used one particular item in a way that you might not think of. So stay tuned, here we go. Okay, so like I said, I shopped at a local grocery store called Reese's. This is just a traditional supermarket, and I found a freezer of markdowns. These are things that were heavily marked down, like 80 or 90% off the original price. So I had a good long look at things in this freezer section to see what I could make work. I was very excited to see this bread. This is really high-end bread. This loaf of bread is $1, so it went right into my basket. But when I went back later and looked again, there was another loaf of Rudy's bread that was 75 cents, so I ended up picking that up. And then I was really intrigued by these burritos. It was only 75 cents for this 8-pack of burritos, so I was like, I think I have an idea for what I can do with those. So I went and picked up a can of beans, and I actually opted for some organic navy beans. I didn't really care that much that they were organic. They were just the least expensive ones. And I didn't get a picture of it, but I also threw a can of tomatoes in my basket as well. And then I decided I would pick up some of these noodles. This is good if you're on a tight budget, in my opinion, because they're already seasoned. So if you have limited seasonings, these can be really great. But unfortunately, there's only 2 servings in that package. So I decided that I would bulk it up with a few more noodles. And this little 7-ounce package of noodles was only 50 cents. They're 25 cents at my Walmart, or 27 cents, but they were 50 cents here. I would have rather gotten some peas and carrots, but I really felt like I needed to bulk up that dish with some more calories. I had a little bit of money left, but I couldn't find any good sales on produce, so I ended up just picking out a couple of bananas. And then when I recalculated my total, I realized I still had like a quarter or so left, so I went back and got myself another banana, so I ended up with another banana. So here's what I ended up with: the bread, 3 bananas, the chicken burritos, the chicken flavored noodles, a 7-ounce package of plain pasta, a can of tomatoes, and I did get some that had onions and garlic in it. Again, pre-seasoned stuff is helpful when you're on a budget, and 1 can of beans. So let me show you how I used this. So I know this is going to sound crazy, but what I did with my burritos was I opened them up and I removed the filling. So the filling is chicken and beans and rice and cheese. I am not a huge fan of frozen burritos because when I reheat them, the tortillas like either get really hard or they're super soggy and disintegrated. I just decided I would remove the filling from the burritos and I would use that to flavor my food. So I'm going to use half of this for the dinner recipe that I'm making. And for lunch, what I'm going to do is basically make these noodles, combine them with these noodles, and then add half of my burrito filling. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but one of the shortcuts when you have, you know, kind of a limited budget to deal with is to try to find things that are already seasoned. So these are already seasoned, but there's only 2.5 servings in a package, or 2 servings in a package. So I thought I would get a package of plain noodles to add to them. And then with my burrito filling and then, you know, the water that goes with them, this will be a very bulky meal. Obviously, if I had like some mixed vegetables that I could have afforded with my budget, or if you have some frozen mixed vegetables or peas and carrots on hand, that would help a lot in adding some nutritional value. But this is going to be kind of like a fill the belly type meal because it's going to produce a lot. It's going to be very filling. It will be flavorful because of the flavored pasta and then the burrito filling that I'm going to put in it. And it will have a decent amount of protein. I mean, this bag of pasta, this little 7-ounce bag of pasta has about 25 grams of protein for the entire bag. This little package of pasta has about 20 grams of protein, and then plus the protein from the beans and chicken and cheese that are in my burrito filling. So it's gonna be a very filling meal, even if it isn't the most nutritious thing. So I will show you what it looks like when it's done. Full skillet dish. It does call for a little bit of butter, and I am going to go ahead and use butter. I think margarine would be just fine, or even a little vegetable oil just to add some fat to this dish. I think that would make it more satiating. And since I am sort of operating, you know, under the assumption that people will have salt and pepper and some kind of cooking oil like butter or vegetable oil, I am going to go ahead and add, I think it calls for, yeah, a tablespoon of margarine to these noodles whenever I make them. I will just make them according to the package directions. I will also dump this pasta in with it and just add about 1.5 cups of water and then half of my burrito filling, and I'll cook it all together so that all the flavors kind of mingle. Okay, so here is what my lunch looks like. And I know it's not much to look at, but I've already tasted it and it is very tasty. And this is a big bowl and I still have plenty left for the other 2 days. I did add a little bit of salt because I thought it needed just a little bit of salt, which is funny because I know that the burrito filling and the noodles that I made have salt, but remember I added a whole package of plain noodles as well. I did not add any pepper because the burrito filling was kind of spicy. So it was already, you know, kind of spicy enough on its own, but that is what I'm going to have for lunch. So breakfast for these 3 days I know is really simple and not very exciting. It's toast and a banana. And if all else fails, I know I could just smash up that banana and put it across the toast, or I could just eat the toast plain and then eat the banana. But obviously if you have some things on hand like some peanut butter or a little butter or margarine, you can make some really yummy toast. If you have an egg, you could make French toast, or you could have an egg on toast. I am attempting to fry my banana in a little bit of butter and cinnamon and sugar, and just see if I can make like some cinnamon sugar fried bananas. I don't know how that's gonna turn out, but I'm attempting it. So I will show you what that looks like if I can make that work and what it looks like on my toast. Okay, so here is what it looks like all finished up. I just fried up my bananas with about 1/2 tablespoon of butter and 1 tablespoon of sugar and cinnamon. I just put that into a pan and kind of let it bubble up, and then I sliced up my bananas kind of thick and put them, well, I just did one banana because I'll do this one at a time. And I put that in my pan and just kind of, you know, let it fry, for lack of a better word, in the sauce. And then I just poured it over the top of my toast. I sprinkled it with just a little bit more cinnamon sugar. So I know it doesn't look really pretty. I know it doesn't have like a ton of protein, but actually this bread is really good quality bread. And it's pretty hearty. It's 100 calories per slice, and it has 2 grams of fiber per slice and 3 grams of protein. So actually I'm still getting a few grams of protein with this bread. And by the way, there's plenty of this bread to have like a piece with my lunch and a piece with my dinner, or a piece for a snack if I get hungry. And I know it seems, you know, so simple, but never underestimate the power of like a loaf of bread to just fill you up when you need it, or a slice of bread when you need it. So that's what I'm gonna have for breakfast. And as I said before, all kinds of ideas where toast is concerned. At the very least, just, you know, plain toast with a sliced up banana on top. But if you have other things in your pantry, fridge, and freezer that you can add to it, that would make it even better and more nutritious. And it doesn't have to be, you know, anything obvious. Just like some cinnamon sugar, some cinnamon toast could really flavor that up. You guys, I don't know how it is that I'm just discovering fried cinnamon sugar bananas. Oh my gosh, this is so good. And I just finished a 2-mile jog, so I'm hungry. This is good. I know I need some protein after my jogs, but this is gonna fill my belly, and oh man, this is good. I can't believe I haven't ever had cinnamon sugar bananas before. Wow. For my dinners for this challenge, I am making sort of what I hope is going to be like a taco soup or an enchilada soup. I'm taking the rest of my burrito filling that I took out of my burritos, and I'm going to put it in my crock pot, and I'm going to dump this can of diced tomatoes with roasted garlic and onion and this can of navy beans in it as well. And then I will probably add a little bit of water just to give it sort of a soupy texture. I like using things that have flavorings in them already. Of course, if you have like some taco seasoning or you have some salt and pepper, and again, you know, another can of beans or, you know, some corn would be really good in this as well. I am trying to just stick with what I purchased as much as possible and just the very basics as far as seasonings go, maybe some salt and pepper. But I feel like slow cooking things or letting things simmer for a long time on the stove really helps kind of bring out the flavors and mingle the flavors together. So I'm hoping that will make a very flavorful soup that will feed me a nice hearty dinner, and it's gonna have a lot of nutrition in it because I've got the vegetables, you know, in the tomatoes, and then obviously the beans, and there's beans in this mixture as well, and lots of seasonings. So hopefully this is going to work out for me for dinner. So I will show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, you guys, here is my soup. I think it turned out really good. And you see like big chunks of tomatoes in there too, which are adding some veggies, and the beans, of course. You could use any kind of beans you wanted. I just chose navy beans because I like those. And then the burrito filling is giving it, you know, the flavor for the soup. And because I didn't want my tortillas to go to waste whenever I removed the burrito filling, I was actually thinking back to when my mom used to make tostadas. She used to fry the flour tortillas in vegetable oil. So I just took a little vegetable oil and I took the little tortilla pieces and dropped them in the hot oil and just fried them for a couple of minutes, sprinkled them with salt, and then I'm just gonna put those on top of my soup, and it's gonna give my soup just a nice little crunchiness, you know, and just make it a little bit more filling too. Of course, I have plenty of bread as well, so if I wanted to, I could have a piece of toast, but I was just trying to think of a creative way to use the tortillas. So there you have it. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up, and thank you again to Miranda, and be sure to go and check out her channel, Running on Plants. I think I forgot to mention in my introduction that I actually spent $4.75. That was my total at the store for this challenge. So I actually left a whole quarter on the table. I could have gotten another banana or maybe even 2. But I know that some people may be able to do a better job. There are some things that I might do differently in the next $5 3-day challenge, but all in all, I am fairly content with how I was able to do this at my local, just regular run-of-the-mill supermarket. So thanks so much for watching, and I will be sure to check in again with another video very soon.